Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. And welcome to episode 2 of LJV Summer of Sable, where all summer long I'm going to be taking a closer look at every single Sable figure ever released. Now, some of her figures aren't so exciting and they'll be grouped together in a video, but this WWF Grudge Match Series 1 deserves its own standalone video because this is awesome. So this Luna Vachon that comes packed in this 2-pack is one of Jakks' best figures to date. And we'll find out why once I open it up and take a closer look. But the first thing we're going to do is what I find the most fun about these videos, and that's cover the packaging. The nostalgia feels I get from looking at all the wrestlers and all the items released at this time is unparalleled, so that's one of the things I really wanted to do in these videos was take a look at the packaging, go back in time, and then take a close look at the figure after. So that being said, let's get started and look at this packaging. Alright, so this figure 2-pack freaking rules, mint on card, to be honest with you. And at this time period in 1998, there really weren't a whole lot of women's wrestling figures that look good MOC. So if you're an MOC collector, especially a women's wrestling figure collector, I would highly suggest searching this out and finding it because it does look great. It's very colorful and does look good mint on card. But we're going to open it up. Why? Mostly because I really want to get a closer look at this Luna Vachon figure. It looks amazing, the sculpting, everything. And also there's some goodies inside. We got some cards inside the box there we'll take a closer look at. So on the front here, obviously we got that red and yellow theme that goes all over with some textures. Looks great. We got that WWF scratch logo with the blue line underneath. We got the Jakks logo in the corner. We have Grudge Match, Luna versus Sable on the front with images of each woman there. Now, in the bottom here, it says official match card included. I'm interested if it has 1 or 2 cards, but we'll take a closer look. Now, let's take a look at the back of the box and see what's included back here. So we got Stomp Series 2, y'all. I don't know if you collected these. These were like G.I. Joe-esque WWF figures at the time that came with weapons and everything else. It was weird. So there's the whole line there. That Owen Hart, you know, for some reason I really did want that down the road. And that China, I am going to try to find that because I am going to do a series in the future that kind of covers odd women's wrestling, not just figures, but merchandise in general. And that definitely would fit in. So I'm going to search that down. Then we have these BCA WrestleMania figures here. We got the Too Tough series. I didn't have any of those, I don't believe. I did not. We got Slammers too. Now the Slammers, I low-key had a bunch of these, but in this series I only had the Dude Love, which was definitely one of my favorites in my collection. But yeah, these had a little mechanism on the back where they had a lever, and as you can see in the image, a lot of times it would move their arms. Like the Dude Love right here, which in my opinion is one of the best Dude Love figures ever made, has a little lever, and when you pull the lever, his arm goes up like the mandible claw action. And yeah, he was one of my favorite figures back in the day. We have another advertisement here for the Monster Ring, which I believe was a repainted LJN ring. You know, not much to say about that. It was way too big, in my opinion. But a lot of people have nostalgia for that, and that's awesome. Then we have the Ripped and Ruthless series, which might be the next video for the Summer of Sable, because this Sable one is definitely a unique figure, a one of a kind figure, in my opinion, that we'll cover. And down here we have the King of the Ring. These are little mini wrestling figures there. A little ring. Pretty cool for road trips and whatnot. It looks like we have a Sunny down there. But to be honest with you, I probably will never get a Sunny figure to review on the channel. Yeah. But, okay, Cat Meow in the background. We'll ignore that. Now let's open up this product and see what's inside. So the best part about opening these up is these packages are real dusty, y'all. Real dusty. So it's better for me to get this dusty package out of here. Now let's take a look at this card first. Oh, this is cheap. Boo! So this is not what I would consider a card. Let's try not to bend it, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's even worth anything. Let's not try to mess the corners up. Oh boy, we gotta get this thing out, man. Alright, so we just have a card of Sable and Luna there. I mean, it's a fine-looking card on the front. But you can see it's like cheap cardboard. I mean, it's like what the card backs of these figures have. You know, it's a little bizarre. But yeah, that's kind of neat that it includes that, I guess. Now, taking the figures out, let's get this packaging out of here. Sable, we're going to cover briefly, and then Luna, we're going to cover a lot closer in detail because that Luna, I tell you what, pretty awesome. So the Sable here, we're going to see this plenty of times in the future repainted. You know, it's kind of an absurd looking body, definitely cartoonish. I do actually like the hair, how it has different tones of blonde, and this looks like a lot more realistic blonde than what we get currently. But this figure in particular has a lot of black throughout. I don't know if that's like, I hate to say it, but like mold over time and whatnot. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to look, but I mean, does it resemble Sable? No, not at all in the face, to be honest with you. It's kind of ridiculous looking of a figure, not much of a wrestling figure in my example. But yeah, we'll see that repainted plenty, so we're not going to spend much time on that. Now here's the main event here, okay? So this Luna Vachon, if you recently listened to the Fully Posable podcast, their Fig Life Hall of Fame, I actually was honored to induct this figure into the Hall of Fame of the Fully Posable podcast. So this is a special figure, and a lot of people love it, especially those that have memories of the Jakks era. So, yeah, there's a lot to start off here with this figure. But let's start off with the face. So the face definitely gives that crazy, you know, vibe that Luna had. She has her tongue sticking out, and she actually has a tongue ring on that tongue. She has details that are crazy, such as the lipstick. And on the side of her head, they included the little lightning that was on there. And what's cool is I didn't realize that was there until I opened this figure up. That's crazy. She has sculpted on earrings. Her hair mold is sculpted, and then obviously she has this rooted hair, and that's unreal. You know, I'm not a huge fan of real hair in my women's wrestling figures. I think this might be the first one that has it, but in this example it works because it's not too much, and it does look natural, and it looks great. So beyond that excellent face sculpt and all the paint that went into it, I mean, look at this pose that they gave her. This embodies the badass woman that Luna Vachon was. And that's what I said in the Fully Posable induction in the Hall of Fame, is that this figure, this just embodies who Luna Vachon was. She was a badass far ahead of her time. She was the first female to be included in a wrestling video game. I can't remember which one. It might have been like Raw on the Sega or something. But either way, she was definitely ahead of her time. And that's what we get here with this pose. Now looking at her top here, it is a textured bra type mold that actually has a lot of detail in the texture. She has a little tattoo near her clavicle there. And look how strong her back is. I did not expect this. I didn't notice this obviously when it was MOC, but her back is just jacked beyond all means, which makes sense in this pose that she's giving. So that's pretty awesome. Looking at her hand, she even has little rings sculpted on each hand. Now, the downfall is with this awesome looking pose, there's not a whole lot of playability. You can move the hands down, which would be good for punching, I guess, or headlocks. But this figure, I mean, to me, it's mostly meant to be displayed like this. And it is going to find a place in my background in LumberJillville. It has to. I mean, this figure is so unique and awesome. Now, moving on down to the bottom here. So this skirt is like a soft rubber that surprisingly is held up after, 20 some years. It's not broken down. It hasn't left any marks or anything like that, which is good. But that's definitely a nice little addition, this little clear rubber. And then underneath, she has purple bottoms and a sculpted belt that goes all the way around here. And then she has these stockings that are sculpted at the top and painted a nice, kind of a faint red color, which makes them look see-through. Excellent. And then the heels are molded on. So I honestly can't say enough good about this figure. I highly suggest, I just mentioned to try to find this MOC and keep it MOC, but I'll be honest with y'all, try to find this figure loose as well, because this Luna is truly awesome. It is an amazing, amazing figure, and definitely is going to find a spot in my collection on display. Alright, so there we have it, a close look at WWF Grudge Match Series 1, Luna and Sable, and like I mentioned, I can't say this enough, and I usually don't say this about Jakks women's figures, but this Luna is a must-have in your collection if you're a women's wrestling figure collector. It's truly amazing. It's even better in hand. It's even better when you take it out of the package, in my opinion. So much detail and sculpting work went into this, and it's a fantastic figure. Also, make sure to check out Fully Posable's podcast, because not only do I get to induct this figure into their Hall of Fame, but they have Vintage Jakks BCA breakdown info on this figure, talked about the sculptor that did the work, and it's really cool info and knowledge that he shares on the podcast, so definitely check that out. But with that being said, if you like the Summer of Sable series, let me know, hit like, comment below. I know it's different than what I usually do, but I want to do bonus videos for y'all, so I really do hope you enjoy this, and there will be future videos, so stay tuned. Have a great night, y'all.